Okay, so it looks like every other month there's another comedian going in on Kevin Hart or expressing how they feel like he's not funny and, going on and on and on. This time, that comedian is Mike Epps. I didn't even know that they had this frenemy situation brewing, but apparently Mike Epps is not here for Kevin Hart's comedy. They've been feuding behind the scenes and they've not been getting along. So Mike Epps is working on a movie and there was comments made about Kevin Hart. Mike Epps had posted up a post where it was a photo of him and Eddie Murphy, and somebody commented and they're like, Eddie Murphy is funnier than Kevin Hart still. And so Mike Epps replied and he said, everybody is. So then Kevin Hart, he replied and he's like, it's a shame that everyone isn't selling like me though, and then puts the dancing emoji. So a comedian blog, I guess it's like a comedian page that keeps up with all the comedians, they picked up the story and they're like, ooh, Mike Epps said that Kevin Hart isn't funny, blah, 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 blah. So then Mike Epps hopped on the post and he's like, wait a minute, like this ain't even newsworthy. But I guess it was newsworthy enough for Kevin Hart to reply because he hit him back with a nice little comment to set him straight. In the reply, he said, all I can say is that you're a sad individual. I talked to you several times face to face in an attempt to put the BS behind us. I even reached out to you like a man and tried to get to the bottom of your bitterness. When will you realize that my success has nothing to do with you or your journey? Unlike you, I want to see you win. I'm actually a fan, champ. I'm praying for the day that you will realize that so many of us entertainers have crab in the barrel mentality. You are the biggest crab I know. I will continue to shine and continue to make history and continue to do comedy at the highest level. If that makes you sick, then so be it. I will hand you a throw-up bucket because this next year I'm about to have will be my best, Mr. Bitter. While you worry about this grown little man, please know and understand that all I am worried about is success. Hashtag catch up. Mike Epps definitely had time last night. He said, you still starving to be a victim? I said it wasn't press-worthy, and here you go as usual trying to show the world how great you are because people pick on you. You have a long line of shit to clean up before you can hand me a MFing bucket. I've been doing this shit for 25 plus years, Mr. Victim. Don't get too cute, little brother. This shit is a lifetime achievement, and stop following my comments around the worldwide web. How do you find this shit? I talk about everybody, but you always take it personal. The whole internet talk about you, so don't stop here. You got a lot of responding to do. And for everybody reading this, me and Kevin been knowing each other too long, so this is not a beef. If it was, I would have never responded. Again, like I told you face to face, congrats on everything, man. You seem to be a great person, but I still don't think your ass funny. For me, it's just a little crazy because each time I report on a story that has to do with Kevin Hart and another comedian, sometimes like like when I was reporting on the whole Michael Blackson thing between him, it's just crazy that comedians, like, they crack jokes on people, they tell jokes about people, but they seem like extremely sensitive. I mean, but I guess men still have their ego, and when it comes to people who are your peers, your work peers at least, I guess he feels like he should have a certain respect for his craft. And I mean, I guess there should be a little bit more camaraderie, I would say, but then again, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to express if you feel like somebody's funny or not. Like, I respect Kevin Hart for his grind. He, he hustles his butt off and he has gotten himself to where he wants to be by staying consistent, dedicated, and he might have, left his old wife in the dust for the Hollywood acceptable version, but I respect his grind nonetheless. However, when it comes to his comedy, I don't think he's that funny either. So I'm like, I mean, is it really like a hating situation to express like if you feel like somebody's not that funny? But then again, I also do know that if you have nothing nice to say, then you shouldn't say it at all. And I mean, I guess at that moment the comment wasn't really necessary. I don't know. I'm conflicted on it because on one end I feel like you should be able to say what you want, but then again it's like, was the comment really truly necessary? And then on the other end, it's like, I don't know, y'all. I mean, I don't favor either of them, but I understand the competition and the competitiveness. Since I didn't know that there was this big beef brewing for so long, I decided to, do a little digging to see where this all stemmed from and where this all started from. And I came across some tweets from 2013 and 2014 where Mike Epps and Kevin Hart were taking shots at each other. Mike Epps, I guess he basically accused him of stealing his craft. Then he took shots at him by saying that if Cat Williams had never flipped out, then there would be no Kevin Hart. Well, if you guys know anything about Kevin Hart's success, then you know that he came up after Cat Williams turned down some movie roles, and he passed on movie roles, and the movie roles that he passed on were the ones that Kevin Hart got, and that's how he became this staple in comedy. And then shortly after that, I guess drugs or what have you got wind of Cat Williams, and then there is Kevin Hart. So I mean, there is kind of some truth to it, but Kevin Hart is also a very hard worker, and he shows it constantly within his craft and his work ethic. But back to the issue at hand, Mike Epps, like I said, he feels like Kevin Hart is ripping off his style. The first thing that people say is, well, why aren't you as successful as Kevin Hart? And Kevin Hart is more successful. He's the bigger star than you, so he can't rip off your style, blah, 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 blah. The only thing that I will say to that, though, is a lot of you guys are so unaware of how Hollywood works, how favoritism works, and how certain things are put into play. What I will say, though, is just because somebody is a bigger star or a bigger celebrity, and not to be in Mike Epps' defense, because like I already said, I really, either one of them, I really don't care either which way. But just because somebody is the bigger star or the bigger celebrity, that doesn't mean that they don't copy styles of other people. This is something that I first experienced when I was doing fashion. I had my clothing line. I was up and coming, but it was like a couple of girls who had like much bigger following than me. They started their clothing lines after me, and they started replicating a lot of the designs that I had already made. But because they had the bigger following, it looked like my designs came secondary. And I mean, I've even experienced this in media. Like, there'll be people who have bigger followings, and people will come and think that oh, well, are you being like this person or that person? It's like, no, like, so I just wanted to say that, because I know the first thing people will say is, oh, this person is the bigger artist, or this person is this, and da 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 da. I mean, they're probably still going to say that, but just to kind of give you guys a scenario that it does happen, that bigger artists, bigger stars, bigger celebrity, people with bigger followings, they do copy the smaller guys. They have more eyes on them, and then when they get wind of the person who has a smaller following or a lesser celebrity, they assume that they are the ones copying, because by the time that they see the person with the smaller following, the other person has already got eyes on people seeing them do it. So I just kind of want to negate that whole narrative of, he can't possibly copy him. He's the bigger star. He's the bigger celebrity, because he very well could have. Not to say that he did. I don't know their backstory, and I don't want to speak to who stole what and how they did it, because I'm not sure. But just to give you guys an idea of how these things can happen for the people who are naive to these things happening, and again, I don't favor either one of them, but I just have to be real in my summary or my thoughts about the situation, because I know how things go both ways. That's all I want to say on that. But, Nick Cannon also hopped into this whole little beef, and he tried to dispute it. And he's like, wait, we don't ever see the white comedians beefing with one another. Like, why is it always us tearing each other down? Which, I agree with that. Like, we don't hear about beefs with, other ethnicities, because they all trying to eat. And I agree with Nick Cannon. It's enough money out here for all of us. We can all get money. And So, I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about it. Let's talk about it in the comments. Alright guys, that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip. But in order to do that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button right now. Don't wait. Do it right now. Alright guys, peace.